Hi guys, it's Sweety Pie and welcome back to my channel. Now, this video was supposed to be like a fun, nice video, and I was actually supposed to film my first impression of the Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet palette, but my hubby took the mail key and it is in his car and he's not going to be home until 4. So we're going to do this video. I'm sure if you've seen it, it's going to be like a top 5, bottom 5 palettes that I regret purchasing and 5 palettes that I was like, the hell? This is actually really good. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned and hopefully I'll be able to film at some point my ultraviolet review. Now it will be a review because I'll have a few days with it. Anyway, if you guys are interested, stay tuned. Remember, subscribe to my channel if you guys haven't already. That really helps me out, and like this video so that, you know, more people can see it. And yeah, let's not smack my legs anymore. All right, let's get into this video. Oh my Lord Jesus. Okay, these are the palettes. Little sneak peek. I picked these palettes for the reasoning behind they either blew me away because they were good, or there is a reason behind me not really wanting to support the brand, not really wanting to have the palette anymore. Whatever. You'll see the excuses as we go. So let's go good, bad, because why not? The first good, and honestly, I think I'll just hold both of these up. The first ones that I was blown the frick away by are the the Lime Crime Venus palettes. I bought both of these at Winners and I'm blown away how much I like these palettes. This one is probably my second favorite. This is the Venus XL2 and it looks like this. And some of these shades are so pretty together and they're like, oh, look at that. Look at that. Now, this one doesn't have a whole lot of mattes in it. And that's probably why I'm not like crazy for this one. But some of these shadows are so pretty and unique to my collection that I'm so happy that I bought this because it was not cheap even at Winners. It was not cheap. So I'm happy, and you know, I'm always excited when I pull out the packaging and see the palette. This one is my all-time favorite. This is the Venus XL. Come on, how did you know? Like, of course this is my favorite. And this one is more matte heavy, but the shimmers are really pretty too. And I think that these, oh my Lord Jesus, look at that pink. Look at how pretty they are. So I think that this one and this one together are like a match made in heaven. There's so many beautiful shimmers in this, and then you've got all these beautiful like burgundies and peaches. Like, it's a freaking dream to use and wear. So yeah, not sure if you can still get these, but if you see them at Winners, I would scoop whatever one, you know, appeals to you the most. I would scoop it up because they are really good formula, and I was surprised that they were so good. I had seen them when they released, and of course I don't have anywhere to buy Lime Crime brand new, so that's never something that happens. But when I saw these at Winners, I was like, you're coming home with me. So those are 2 palettes that I was like, I was not expecting to love as much as I did. Now, a palette that I probably should never have purchased, but it was definitely the nostalgia that made me purchase this. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. And just to be honest, and I am actually wearing this palette on my eyes today. I just did a super simple matte look today because I was kind of perturbed that I didn't get to play with my ultraviolet. But yes, this is just something that I have like 400 times over in my collection. I bought this while it was on sale at Sephora. because of the hype around this. But at the time that I bought this, I'd already had like 10 other neutral palettes that had exactly the same shades in here. And it's not that these aren't good quality, because they are really good quality. I like them and everything. But like, even when you start looking at this palette, like it's very shimmer heavy. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mattes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shimmers. So I don't know. I think that if there had been a couple more like really burgundy-ish colors or something, I probably would have been like, oh, it's you know, I don't care, it's pretty. But this is just way basic for me, and it, you know, if I'm like going to my Nana's or something, this is great. But like, I also have like 10 other palettes that would have been perfectly fine in that position as well. Anyway, let's go to a good one again. All right, so here's another, like, you know, double, like, there's from the same kind of collection. These are the Too Faced. This one is the Razzle Dazzle Berry eyeshadow palette, and then this one is the Sparkling Pineapple eyeshadow palette. I definitely, clearly favor this one, but they are such beautiful shadows, and especially the formula they have in here. For this one, I don't know. I don't know why they do not make this formula in more of their palettes, because I would jump if they had a palette that had even like 5 or 6 in different colors of this formula that is in this palette. The shade I'm talking about is Razzle. And then they have the same formula in a taupe in the Too Faced. This is the, what is this called? The pineapple one? Anyway, they have this shade on the side here called Yum Yum, and it's the same formula. It's like that almost Super Shock shadow formula. So shimmery, and like the other shades in here are really pretty as well. I find that like this one in this palette, look at that gold. Now that one is it's not the same formula as these ones. You can really see in the pan, if I can show you, like these press like a ColourPop shadow, whereas you know this one is just like a pigment. Yeah, see, it's a little bit more chunky than this formula they have. But honestly, the second that I tried and bought this and tried that formula, I was like, if I can get a hold of the pineapple one, I'm doing it, because I was hoping that the gold would be in that formula. It wasn't, but still, I think that these are great. I think the quality is great, and I wish they would come out with this formula in some more of their eyeshadows, because it blew me away, to be honest. Okay, now we're going to talk about an old palette. And for a while, I thought, you know, this is not as bad as people made out. Some of these shadows are so pretty, but honestly, for this being their like 20th anniversary palette, I think like Too Faced like phoned home on this one. Like, it's just not that great. The eyeshadows aren't that great. They're not. Like, there's a couple shades in here that I really loved. This Glitter Donut was really pretty, and this Reality Star was really nice. But like, for one, they only put 3 mattes in the entire palette, and this was supposed to be like, they had their original shades up here, and then they remastered those shades and, you know, did them down here. It's not that the eyeshadows don't work. It's just, I feel like they were all the frick over the place with this palette. And at first, because I was so enamored, I think, by how pretty it was and how big they made it, that I think I kind of jumped the gun, and this is not like something I'm gonna like pull out of my collection and use again and again and again. It's just not as good. It's not as inspiring as I once thought it might have been. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Anyway, let's go on to the... Okay, so everyone knows what this is. This is the Kat Von D Alchemy palette. I purchased mine at Winners, I think, and one of my shades actually came a little bit broken. It was the Sapphire shade. I just pressed it back in. I think that this is an awesome little palette for anyone who doesn't use duochromes in their everyday makeup but wants to try them, because these are so cool looking. Like when you get these on the inner corner, like right now they literally look like white chalk on my hand. But when you actually use these, and oh my god, when you put these over a black base, as I'm swatching them, I'm like, shoot, is this gonna show up even? I don't know if you can really see that in the duochrome, but oh my goodness, it's so pretty and it's so compact. It's sitting in there. You get 4 different shades and they're all like, you know, they're all the kinds of shades you would need. You have a pink, you have a blue, you have a purple, you have a yellow. Like, I think that if you're not super into duochromes, that this was amazing. This was great. And I definitely do not regret buying it at all. Okay. So now we're going to get into something a little bit odd. So I wanted a Jeffree Star palette, like really badly. And I got the Jawbreaker palette. Now these eyeshadows are awesome. Like, people are right. His eyeshadow formula is really great. It's pigmented. It blends well. Like, you know, what you see is really what you get in these pans. Like, and look at this. Like, take a freaking look. It's a rainbow fantasy. Now, I don't love his shimmer formula as much. I see why he kind of goes really matte heavy. His shimmer formula is not amazing, and I'm sorry about the fire truck. I live right beside the fire station. Anyway, so beautiful. But I keep, like, every time I freaking pull this out, like, just like, I feel like drama is gonna follow me everywhere I go. Like, honestly, I just don't like him. I think he's super odd, and I definitely think that, like, he's got some issues. So, like, the reason I threw this in here is because I truly do, like, the more that, like, people speak on him, the less I want to use his products, essentially. And although this is some of the best eyeshadows that I've used in these color families, I don't know. I feel weird. Every time I pull it out, I'm like, I don't know. I feel very odd. So that's my piece. That is my piece. I like the eyeshadows. It's not that. It's just problematic much. Like, same thing with Too Faced. Like, are you problematic much? Like, okay. And to go to the complete opposite, we have the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette. She has gone AWOL, and I am dying inside because she is my favorite YouTuber, and that's just the truth on that one. This is beautiful. The shadows work excellent. I think that her sequin formula, I never liked that glitter formula until I tried these. These are special. These are beautiful. I will buy whatever she comes out with. I have her, come here. I have her Blendiful right here. I will essentially buy whatever she puts her name on, besides her vitamins, because it's weird. It's weird. I just feel it like it's weird. But anyway, I think this is beautiful. And I honestly, with all the stuff that was coming out about, oh, she's using Seed Beauty, so it's just ColourPop's formula. I have ColourPop eyeshadows, and they're not like this. This is a different formula. This is different. So yeah, I love Tati, and I will continue to support her. This is this was a pretty penny, to be perfectly honest. I think it was close to $80 with shipping and all that kind of jazz. But I love this. I think that this was a labor of love, and it was innovative, and I don't think anyone's really done anything like the types of formulas and the way she laid this out. I don't think anybody's ever actually done that much due diligence. So I love Tati, and I love this palette. All right, so the last few ones we got going on. I got 2 bad ones and I got 1 good one. Okay, so this one, not bad. The eyeshadows, again, aren't bad in it. I just do not need this palette. I don't freaking need it. Like, the shimmers are really pretty. Like, you know, I can see why this palette was, you know, a hit. Because it's really pretty. But it's just, I have these shades. Like, some of the shimmers are more unique, but like these mattes, I have all of these mattes like 10 times over. You know, there's a couple purples, there's a bunch of warm neutrals, there's 1 green. It's just, I don't know. And honestly, mine is Scorpio. And yeah, okay, but I wish it had been like burgundy or pink. So yeah, again, just not something that I ever needed. It's not something I needed. It's not that it's not good quality. I do realize why people like that palette because it is nice, but as you can see, barely touched it. Barely touched it. Eyeshadows are my weakness. Okay, so I guess I want to end on a good note, so I'm going to show the one last bad one I have. And I don't know this influencer. I don't follow her or anything, but I just bought this 3 weeks ago, and I've been using it, and I just don't like it. This is the Makeup Revolution Tammy X Revolution Tropical Carnival Eyeshadow Palette. I have created some nice looks with this. Oh goodness, see, and that's another thing. Like, you can't get into these palettes for the life of you. Like, you can't get into these freaking palettes. Ah, there we go. So this is the palette. You have lots of really bright colors. They're very, very pretty in the pan, but I just don't like the way they lay on the eye. I think that they're patchy. I think that they're not that pigmented, and when you're trying to do really colorful looks like this, you are going to have a really hard time blending and, you know, using the shadows, especially if you're going to try and do like a completely matte eye pretty. Like, they're the same kind of thicker consistency I expected from Makeup Revolution, and I can totally work with that, but these mattes, they're just not that good. They're just not that good. They're thin, and it's hard to build to this shade that is in this pan. It's just really hard to build to that shade. So I'm not happy with this palette, and I'm sorry. Okay, last but not least, we have a palette that I just did it was a first impressions kind of. I did my first look with it, and it is the Melt 420 palette. And I did want to throw this one in here because I really half expected to not like this. I didn't watch any reviews on purpose so that I could get an unbiased opinion, even though I knew that a few people did not like this. I like this a lot, guys. This is so pretty. The looks I've created have been nothing but beautiful. You know, like, they blended really nicely. They didn't give me a hard time. I know these palettes are expensive, and, you know, that definitely has to be taken into consideration, but they're so pretty. They're so pretty. And, like, the only thing I really dislike about this palette is the one shimmer is a little, like, it's a little too creamy. It comes off like the same types of shadows that are in the Huda Beauty Neon palettes, where you're not going to get a lot of opaqueness from the shimmers. They're gonna have to be built, and you may have to use a base underneath them if you want them to really pop. And that's what I got from the only shimmer in this palette. It is called Shatter. But the mattes worked so beautifully, and like, this kind of color story is something that you just don't see that often, where they're mixing like cooler tones with really warm tones. I had a lot of fun with this palette. I think that it's well worth, if you are into, you know, weed or shatter and you enjoy this color story, I think that you will enjoy this palette. I didn't have any blending issues. I use either my MAC paint pot or a concealer as my, as my base, and it seemed to work just fine. I also usually set my crease at least a little tiny bit with a cream shadow or something, just so that that blending can be even easier. So I'm not sure, maybe if I didn't do those things, it might be harder. I have noticed that sometimes with Melt Cosmetics as well as Anastasia Beverly Hills, some of their eyeshadows are so pigmented that you have to go in with a light hand at first and really kind of work them in there. So yeah, some shadows are super user friendly, other shadows might not be. I didn't get a whole lot of like muddiness with this either. I did use kind of like shades. I didn't like mix the cools with the warms too much. Maybe I should have, but either way, I've been really enjoying this palette, and I'm so happy I have been, because I was worried there for a minute. I was like, oh no, what if I hate this palette and I've spent so much money on it? They're not doing returns. I was a little concerned. First world problems, I'm sure, but I was concerned. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. That is all I have for you today, and I hope you enjoyed, taking a look at these palettes and me letting you know that some of them aren't as good as I maybe thought they were in the beginning, or they just weren't good at all. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever. I hope you guys are taking your time and being safe and healthy and happy. Until the next time, mwah, I love you guys so much. Bye.